And I want to talk to you about something quickly before I go get my 10-year-old from school. And the topic that I put on Facebook, and I kid you not, if everyone in the room agrees with you, you got to move. You have to shift gears. And there's a reason I say that is because we are conditioned to want to go where we feel comfortable. And you don't want to be in a room where everybody is of the same have the same thought process as you, right? And does not challenge your way of thinking. And I say that, like, for those who know, I am a contrarian at heart. Like, I will tell you, like, okay, tell me more. And a lot of people think it's me disagreeing. No, but I want to hear why you are sticking. Hey, Courtney, how are you? Nice to meet you as well. I'm excited all the way from Queens, New York. I hope it's not too well. I know there was a snowstorm, and I hope you're not snowed in today. I don't know. I haven't been watching the news with whatever sickness I have. But what I'm saying, y'all, is that you cannot be in a room where everybody thinks the same. Because one thing that I'm noticing is that across the board, people on my feed are commenting the same thing or upset about the same thing. They have the same ideas and the same limiting beliefs about certain things, and they tend to group themselves into one pot, right? And then they'll complain that something's not happening in their favor. But then those people that have the benefits that they're talking about are folks that decided not to associate with them. And they think something's wrong with that. But then hear me out, because I want you to realize that sometimes staying in the room where everybody agrees with you can be at a detriment to you and the way you're trying to navigate life. Because life is going to life. And things are going to be hard, things are going to be complicated. But if you are unable to advance your thought process, right? And how you think things and how you see things, then you're always going to be stuck in the same thing. Like, there are things I used to do when I was younger. I never realized how valuable it was that this was inert in me, right? And that this would be lessons that I take with me and realize as an adult are necessary. Because I remember there was a summer camp that my mom dropped me and my brother off to. Because then, for those that don't know, I grew up in Haiti, right? And me and my brother had to go to summer camp. And for the summer camp, it's like the people there is people that, I went to all girls Catholic school. My brother went to all boys Catholic school. So it's like the friends we had were like his friends and like people he know and people I knew and stuff like that, our neighbors. We all got together. But when we got to the camp, when my parents dropped us off, for some reason they thought everybody that we were surrounded with were our friends. But at a young age, I had to I was able to say, hey, you know what? I I don't like the energy and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go home. And I was what, maybe 10 years old at the time, 9 or 10, and I said that and left. And as an adult, thinking back to that moment, having the confidence level to not let how people, the group, think, dictate what I want to do was very important. And as adults, it's like we forgot that. Like, as kids, we're very, very audacious to say what we don't like or how people move we don't like. But now it's like we want to fit in a box. We don't want people to shun us. We don't want people to think badly about us. Because then, um, for for those who are new here, I've been going through this nightmare of a divorce since September 2024, right? So some people know that I am very upfront and very direct, right? And I purposely, because then I've met some people that say, oh, but he doesn't look like that, right? He doesn't look like he would do that. And based on where he is in life and how he can benefit. I understand the laws of power. Like most of the laws of power, I understand it. So you want to keep that person in your good graces. But it's like you see how people react, not because they understand how the power dynamics are, but because they're afraid to disappoint, so they behave differently. So it's like they'll say things that they don't mean. And that's what I'm saying. Stop saying things that you don't mean just because everybody is saying it. Oh, I'm so sorry you're going through that. If you need anything, let me know. If you don't mean it, do not say it. Okay. And that's what I'm saying. If you're surrounded by people that think the same, you have to move. You have to leave the room. You have to get to a point where you are able to speak your mind and, well, don't just say everything that comes out of your head, because sometimes you have to really sit on it and think about it and move strategically. And that's where I'm coming from when I say that you can't be in a room where everybody thinks the same. And a lot of folks, even my therapist, doesn't understand. Like, there's some friends I have, we do not think the same, but we get along. Why do we get along? We can agree to disagree. I don't like the way you think. This is why. Because one thing about me, when I go home, I don't think about the problems you have. I'm thinking about the problems I have. So, am I going to absorb what you're going through because what? It's not going to feed my kids. It's not going to feed me. I'm not going to do that. So you have to be able to take the relationships that you have and take people's ideas and belief systems and separate them from what is not yours. What does not fit into your life? Yes, Courtney, if it doesn't fit your life, you need to stop clinging to it, right? Because I see people like so sad about like different things that happen in this country, in this world, right? They're so sad about it. It stops them from acting. It stops them from actually growing because they feel like if they do anything for themselves, they're selfish. But if you don't do anything for yourself, then what are you going to do? Are you going to put yourself at in a position that you're not succeeding because this person is going through something? You're going to mess yourself up. So when you mess yourself up, how are you going to help them? Right? And I remember before I met my soon to be ex-husband, I used to tell him that when I was younger, there is a reason that I did not want to just like I had family members in Haiti. I was in college asking me, "Hey, Stacey, can you send me money?" I'm like, "I don't have it to send you. I don't." And I blocked them. And he used to tell me I was wrong and things like that. But in retrospect, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? Young Stacy was going in the right direction. Unless I'm able to get myself out of the rut that I am, I'm in no position to help some other people. I will do what I can and volunteer where I can, but I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I am sad, I am unable to function just so you can function. I understand things are rough for you, but things are rough for me in my own lens as well. I have to be able to help you how I can help you. If I cannot, you should not be making me feel guilty about that. And that's what's happening to a lot of people. They're in rooms that if they do not agree with what the populace is saying, what the group is saying, they're vilified. Find you a new group. If that group is not for you, find you a new group. Because I've seen too many groups that I go in where people, it's like, you feel like you're drained. You feel like every time you go in there, you're sad. Like you see doom and gloom. Maybe it's not the room you're supposed to be in. Maybe you need to change the way you work, the way you function. Because you can't be in rooms where you're sad all the time, where you can't even make change, right? And I've met so many people that are so into titles. Oh, so and so did this program. Yes, I did this program. This program sucks. All it has is the name of a big company, of a big brand attached to it. That's why you think it's something, but it ain't worth nothing. You didn't learn nothing. I've learned so much just doing coaching programs with like business coaches and whatever, even if, and one thing I will say about that, because then I've also seen people complain about, oh, the coaching industry is this, is that. What did you learn? Because if you only see what you were not able to get, why weren't you able to get any success? What did you not do? This person may have given you knowledge, but if you're in the coaching industry, your coach is not going to do it for you. It's your responsibility. But if you're not able to get yourself out of the mindset that somebody owes you something, nothing's ever going to change. Like, it's containers and groups of people that you surround yourself with, people, the way they think, that makes a difference. Surround yourself with people that don't see what's in front of them and take it for what it is. Like this, I'm gonna say this year because then I'm thinking about 2025. In 2025, I've met so many people, and then conversations I've had where, like, some conversations I tell some people always follow the money because everything that's happening, like, it's not what it looks like. It really never is. Okay, because sometimes we get so upset as to what's happening in front of us that we're not thinking as to why it's happening. And yes, last week there was a conversation that came about. I went to an event, yes, just like I am. I held a cough for like an hour and a half just to hear this panel speak. Like when people say there's a reason I'm not getting well, yes, I try. I work even when I'm sick, and I try. So on Friday there was this panel, and a group of politicians, they were talking about how increasing minimum wage, a lot of people don't think about it, will increase the cost of living as well. Because if you're not an entrepreneur, you're not making your own money, you're not in corporation, you've never been in a position where you're managing money, you don't understand this concept. So let's think minimum wage increases. I'm not saying they should not increase minimum wage. So if you want to go fight somebody, go fight your mama, go fight air, because I'm not doing that with you. So I want you to think about it in an objective point of view and really think about what's happening here. When minimum wage increases, right? So the salaries that you have to pay out, that cost has to increase. Now you have admin costs, you have operational costs, you have all these other costs. Now you need to figure out a way for these costs to continue to maintain what's coming in the organization, right? So how are you going to make sure you get enough money in to pay these people where the wage increased? You need to increase something else, possibly the way that revenue is being brought in. And a lot of people don't think about it. How are you going to tell people they're already, let's say some people on the staff are making 100 something, right? $120,000, which is not enough in the grand scheme of things. Because a lot of people want to say that $120,000 is a lot of money. It ain't nothing. If a man tells you he's making six figures and he's making less than 150, less than 200,000, and you think that's enough money, listen, we have our priorities messed up because then where? Okay. So I want you to think about that. So if they have the person started, like there's somebody already on staff making $120,000. And now people that were making 50, they have to raise it. Let's say the minimum. I'm just giving example numbers now. The minimum is going to have to be 50. Now, a lot of folks don't think about that, but there's a percentage of benefits that also included in that salary. Let's say for the sake of this example is 30%. So 30% of $50,000. So they have to bring, so 30% of that will be, I don't have my calculator, so let's just say it's 15, okay, just for the sake of this. So now they have to bring in an extra $20,000. Where are they going to get that money, right? So it's either somebody's going to have to be let go, or they're going to have to raise the cost of things. If they don't want to fire anybody, what do you think they're going to do? As a business owner, as somebody who is able to bring money in, I want you to think about it in that sense, right? Now they're going to increase the cost of things, right? Think about the grocery stores. What's happening? Increasing the cost of things. Now, there's a lot happening too that we're not thinking about the root cause of why prices are increasing. In that panel, that's why I loved it, is these politicians actually talk about the issue is not raising the minimum wage or looking at, the superficial things, but also considering why these things are increasing and nipping it in the bud, because nobody's nipping it in the bud. Okay, so instead of being in rooms where everybody's about, oh, let's let's raise minimum wage, I need you to be in the rooms where people are saying, no, let's not do that, and listen to why. Because when you have differing opinions, what happens is that you're able to see the whole picture instead of one skewed image and start thinking about it in a bigger sense. Because now you're going to evaluate not only the picture you have of what's happening, but also what can happen. Okay? Because I really want you to think about what can happen if what you want happens. And a lot of people are not thinking because they're only thinking about what's popular and what seems heartwarming in the moment, but not what will happen further down the line. I made a post on my Facebook earlier, is like some people are not thinking past 3 years. Because right now everybody's thinking like only for the excuse me, y'all, for the duration of whatever we're going through right now. Wink, wink. You should understand what I'm saying. Okay. So everybody's thinking only for the duration of what's happening. What happens after? Nobody is working on what's happening after right now because they're focused on what's happening right now. Because what's happening right now, right? There's a lot that we have a say in, or maybe not have a say in, that we can fight against. But also, while we're fighting against that, we're not fighting against what's coming after. Okay, so that's why I encourage people, be in rooms where people do not think like you. Because I also met someone last year. Y'all, when I tell you 2025 was the year for me to meet people, by August, I know a few of the friends I made at the beginning of the year are the ones that stuck through. Like the ones I still talk to are the ones that stuck through, right? Oh, Lord. I met some interesting characters in 2025. I met one person who told me that she unfriended or did not want to talk to anybody who was a different political party than her moving forward because they didn't vote like her. All right. How smart is that? Right? There are people that think like that. Because then you may not have voted like me, but I'm going to make you remember it. Like, if something doesn't go your way, like, and that's the thing about me. I will tell you that's what you voted for. Whatever we're going through right now, that's what you voted for. But I'm not going to make you a bad person because of I will tell them they're dumb or they made a dumb choice. I will tell them that, like, with no shame in my game. Okay. I will tell them, hey, your mistake is going to cost you. That's what happened. Right. So get in different rooms. Just because you don't have the same ideas as someone does not mean they cannot contribute to something that you want to do. Because these limitations you're putting on yourself may be what's costing you to get to where you want to go. The limitations you're putting in front of yourself right now may costing you what you want and that you may want in the future. So let's say that you want a public speaking career, and the one person that in this industry that would be able to get you further is someone because you saw their page, you didn't like them, or you didn't like their face, you just don't want to talk to them. Or maybe because they shared a post that you didn't like, you didn't talk to them. But that person looks at you and admires you. But you didn't move because you didn't like them because of a opinion they had. Now that blocked you from your blessings because You just didn't know how to reconcile that people are entitled to their own opinion. And what matters is curiosity and having healthy discussions, respectful discussions, and coming to a place where everybody like is able to voice their opinions. Because the other thing I learned at this panel, I've always thought that, and a lot of people don't understand, these politicians will get in the back room and get along most of the time. Most of the time. Unless you're not in your right head, maybe you won't get along. But these party lines people are all up about, guess what? They probably go to each other's houses and have dinner together. You don't know. Because you're basing your opinions, your opinions on something you think is a reality when it might not be. You don't know what these people are doing behind closed doors. You don't know what they're agreeing to. You don't know the backdoor deals that are happening. So why are you limiting yourself when they're not? That's what I want you to think about. That's what might be missing. That's why I posted this morning, because I need people to start thinking and stop approaching everything as black and white. Because there's a lot of black and white thinking happening when it's not like that. It's not like that in real life. Like it it is what it is, and we can't do I can't do anything about it. I can only control what I can control, which is me, what comes in my house, and what leaves my house. That's it. That's all I can control. So everything else is out of my control. What can I do? I can control what anybody else does. If they decide to do something and I can't do anything about it, I just have to focus on what I can do to contribute to what they're doing, or what conversations need to be had for something to happen. But the only thing I can contribute to this conversation are my thoughts, not what I'm regurgitating because I heard somebody say it and it sounded cute. Okay, so I'm always challenging people, and I will continue doing that. I need you to start thinking. Think outside of the box. Follow the money. Okay? Because most of the time, these decisions that you're mad about, that you cannot control, follow the money. A lot of people are like, oh, the keto diet is blah, blah, blah. Oh, this diet is better. Yes, with every one of them. Look at who the lobbyists are. Look at who's funding research. It's like a lot of people decide to have blinders on. It's like they pick and choose what to be blind about. Look at who is funding these things. Look at who is lobbying for it. I am divorcing a man who's into politics. And one thing I will credit him for is learning how messed up some of this stuff can be, but they love it. Okay? Follow the money. Follow who has the social power, the financial power, because then it will tell you a lot about why things are moving the way they are moving. And right now, do you have any power? Do they care what you say? And that's a question I want you to ask yourself. And are we really a community when there's a problem, or all the time? Because when people come together all the time, it's more powerful when they come together for just one issue. Because when that issue is not on the news anymore and the news decides to put something else on social media and everything, everybody forgets about it. And they know that. So, what can you control? How can you mind your business? And how can you move forward to make decisions happen? Because you can build power without having to agree with everybody and everything they're saying. Like, this is my second time reading a book called The 48 Laws of Power. A lot of people have read that book. Well, this time I'm listening to it. I have the physical book here, but give it a listen. Listen to the examples in history because sometimes we have to look at what happened in history to kind of understand how things are going now. Because is this a new thing happening? Or are we just deciding to be blind? Because then at this point, it's all a choice. We can choose either to stay blind or to stay where conversations are not going anywhere. Or we can choose to do something, to do what we can and contribute to bigger changes. Because the small changes we make within ourselves will contribute to bigger changes. And just shouting, no, you don't like something, it ain't gonna work. It ain't working. We've been shouting for what, 8 years? Did anything change? Nope. So change the rooms you're in because the people you might be talking to may not be the people that will challenge you to think differently and to see how to actually make the changes you need. And there was someone I had a conversation recently, I think it was Deborah, but we were talking about how, hey, talking about politics, but how someone told her that um, Democrats have been going in a fight with balloons, roses, and ponies, and that fight is full blown out with pew pews. So you can't win a pew pew fight with balloons and ponies. So how do you improve the way you're showing up? Change the people that you surround yourself with. Change the way you think. Because if we don't, it's always going to be the same problem. And I kid you not, both sides, they probably get along more than you think. And that's something I want you to remember. While you're mad at people on the other side, remember, in reality, they might get along just fine. You're just the one that is internalizing everything. So change your circle, challenge yourself, be okay with having curious conversations and putting yourself in rooms where people don't think like you. Because when you do is when you get different point of views and your brain starts receiving information that challenges its thought process and gets you to think more. So, with that said, I'm gonna go. My neck hurts. I've been trying to hold this call for so long. Anyways, Courtney, it was a pleasure. I'm gonna make sure to follow you or subscribe to your Substack. And if you're on here, hashtag live, hashtag replay. I have to close all these lives. I don't know why I did this to myself. But bye, everyone. I'm going to go and definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments about what I talked about. This is an open conversation. Let's definitely talk about it. I'm going to go take a short break before I go pick up my 10-year-old. So bye, y'all. Have a good one. Okay.